First performed at London's Middle Temple on February 2nd, 1602, Twelfth Night, or What You Will, has spanned the centuries to remain one of Shakespeare's greatest comedy plays. Written just after Hamlet, Twelfth Night firmly sits within the middle of Shakespeare's career, whereby the chaos and belly laughter comedy often found in his early works has been refined, and the moments of meandering poetry and miraculous plot resolutions that are characteristic of his later works are beginning to emerge. The story starts with a reoccurring theme within Shakespeare's works, a ship caught in a roaring tempest, pitching and rolling before finally capsizing. A handful of sailors and passengers make it to land, including siblings Viola and Sebastian, neither knowing of one another's survival. Bereaved and alone, Viola finds herself in the strange land of Illyria, where she decides to disguise herself as a young man, Cesario, and serve at the Duke of Orsino's court. Orsino, who is himself head over heels in love with a countess, Olivia, hires Cesario to woo Olivia on his behalf. Olivia, however, finds herself more attracted to the disguised Viola than the messages from Orsino. In the throes of emotion, Olivia quickly provides her steward, Malvolio, with a ring and asks him to chase after Cesario. Viola's soliloquy at the end of Act 2, Scene 2 comes at a point approximately a third of the way through the play where the setup of the central love triangle is complete, and therefore the speech serves as a recap to the predicament that Viola finds herself in to the audience, whilst laying the foundation for the comic entanglement of the rest of the play. The opening line, "I left no ring with her," is spoken in response to Malvolio's assertion that Viola left a ring with his lady Olivia, as Malvolio exits the stage. However, the line, "What means this lady?" is internalised and therefore is addressed to the audience. The moment between these two lines marks a clear shift, as Viola has portrayed the unfamiliar masculine character of Cesario during her encounter with Malvolio, and is therefore transitioning back to being herself in order to express her own thoughts to the audience. This fluidity in gender is vital for any successful performance to portray the two characters clearly. Importantly, Viola's soliloquy is spoken in verse, and therefore the iambic pentameter controls the vocal performance of this soliloquy. Whilst a gender shift is at play, there should not be a pause between the lines "I left no ring with her" and "What means this lady" in order to successfully capture the iambic rhythm. Shakespeare has purposefully constructed this to add to the sheer chaos of the events that Viola is having to process at this moment in time. Whilst this soliloquy has clear comedic intentions, as demonstrated in the jovial disbelief delivery of "What means this lady," it is also a rare personal moment that Viola can have with the audience who are entrusted with her secret. This in turn allows Viola to, in confidence, question what Olivia's intentions are in presenting her with a ring that she has no knowledge of. Perplexed as to Olivia's true intentions, Viola then begins to recall the events of their encounter, noting that "she made good view of me," and "for she did speak in starts distractedly." These lines are pivotal to the success of the comedy in the soliloquy, as Viola begins to piece together all the events that have occurred and provide Olivia's seemingly irrational behaviour with irrationality. After "distractedly," there should be a lengthy pause, whereby the penny finally drops and Viola realises that Olivia has fallen in love with Cesario. This moment should also be a moment filled with dread for Viola, as not only has she accidentally caused Olivia to fall in love with her fabricated alter ego, but she has also failed in her mission to woo Olivia for Orsino. After the epiphany of Olivia's love, further light bulbs switch on as Viola realises that sending Malvolio with a ring is a cunning ploy to win her affection, and that her disguise has tricked Olivia. Viola is uniquely poised in her androgynous state to understand both the male and female perspective. On the one hand, that women are easily duped by a disguise, and on the other, that women have been cruelly deceived since Eve in the Garden of Eden. Viola asserts, "I am the man," reaffirming that she is the man that Olivia has fallen for, before sympathising with her, noting, "Poor lady, she will better love a dream," meaning that it would be better for her to fall in love with a dream rather than fall in love with the disguised Viola. The exclamation "poor lady" instinctively generates a laugh from the audience. However, it's important to note that the comedy here is at the expense of Viola and her entangled situation. Viola then divulges the love triangle predicament from both a female and male perspective. Despite her deception, she understands the futility of Olivia's infatuation and yet at the same time empathises with her master's love for Olivia. Viola too is treading a difficult line, as should the ruse be uncovered, she would also be falling out of favour with Orsino, who has shown her kindness by taking her in and whom Viola is of course in love with. Despite the clear comedy of the situation, there is an intrinsic fragility which once again is at the expense of Viola. The speech is peppered with rhetorical questions, displaying Viola's perplexity at her situation. She muses, "How will this fadge, or turn out? And what will become of this?" Clever Viola is fully aware that her situation could have explosive consequences, and indeed it does. However, she understands that she's in too deep and that time must untangle this knot that she's found herself in. If you're interested in seeing more performances of Twelfth Night, I thoroughly recommend Simon Godwin's 2017 production at the National Theatre, which is available on NT at home. This production adds to the already rich gender-fluid material by transforming Malvolio into a female-presenting Malvolia, who is helplessly in love with Olivia. Additionally, Michelle Terry's expertly performed Viola as part of Shakespeare Globe's 2022 production, along with Mark Rylance as Olivia in the all-male original practice-inspired 2012 production, are both available on Globe Player.
I left no ring with her! What means this lady? Fortune forbid my outside may not have charmed her. She made good view of me, indeed, so much that sure me thought her eyes had lost her tongue, for she did speak and starts distractedly. She loves me! Sure, the cunning of her passion invites me in this churlish messenger. None of my lord's ring, why he sent her none. I am the man. If it be so as 'tis, poor lady, she were better to love a dream. Disguise, I see thou art a wickedness, wherein that pregnant enemy does much. How easy it is for the proper false in women's waxen hearts to set their forms. Alas, our frailty is the cause, not we. For such as we are made of, such we be. How will this phage? My master loves her dearly, and I, the poor monster, fond as much on him. And she mistaken seems to dote on me. What will become of this? As I am man, my state is desperate for my master's love. As I am woman, now alas the day, what thriftless sighs shall poor Olivia must breathe. Go time must untangle this, not I. It is much too hard a knot for me to untie.